Hi, first grade, and welcome to another math lesson. Today we are going to start Chapter 7, Lesson 3, which is making picture graphs. Take out your My Math workbook and turn to page 521. This is the page that you should see. Now, as you're following along, make sure you have a pencil and eraser, and you can pause the video if you need to take a break. You can play part of the video back if you didn't understand a section, and you can also pause the video to write the answers and then play the video again to check if your answers are correct. Okay, let's begin. Our essential question is, how do I make and read graphs? And our objective for today is students will be able to make a picture graph. Before we begin, let's review. Let's review what a picture graph is. A picture graph is a graph that has different pictures to show data. So previously we learned about a tally chart, and with a tally chart we could use tally marks to show data. With a picture graph, we are going to use pictures to show data. Let's turn to the first page. Let's make a graph. Read the problem. Let's pretend we asked 5 students from our classroom, what is your favorite winter activity? Jordan and Pablo answered sledding. Kiara and Brenda said ice skating, and Jessie said hockey. Let's make a picture graph to show this data. We are going to draw circles to show one student's favorite activity. Let's take a look at the picture graph under Explore and Explain. Here, the title is Favorite Winter Activities, and we have the 3 activities that the students in our class chose: sledding, ice skating, and hockey. Now, let's go back to the word problem and let's remember, who said sledding is their favorite activity? If I look in the word problem, I can see that Jordan and Pablo said sledding is their favorite activity. So how many circles would I draw under sledding? Pause the video, then play it again for the answer. Jordan and Pablo said sledding is their favorite activity, so I can draw 1 circle for Jordan and 1 circle for Pablo. That is 2 circles for sledding. How many students said ice skating is their favorite activity? Kiara and Brenda said ice skating is their favorite activity. So how many circles would I draw next to ice skating? Pause the video and then play it again for the answer. Because Kiara and Brenda said ice skating is their favorite activity, I will draw 2 circles next to ice skating. 1 circle for Kiara and 1 circle for Brenda. Now, Jesse said hockey was his favorite activity. So how many circles would I draw next to hockey? Pause the video, then play it again for the answer. Because Jesse said hockey is his favorite activity, I will draw 1 circle next to hockey to show Jesse's vote. Great job! We made a picture graph using the data we collected from a survey. This picture graph tells me that 2 students said sledding is their favorite activity, 2 students said ice skating is their favorite activity, and 1 student said hockey was his favorite activity. Turn the page and put your finger on See and Show on page 522. Let's review. A graph shows information or data. A picture graph uses pictures to show data. You can use a tally chart to make a picture graph. So in lesson number 1, we made a tally chart. Now we can use this tally chart to make a picture graph that shows the same data. Let's take a look at this tally chart. The title of this tally chart is Favorite Apple Color. So I know that the tally marks represent one person's favorite apple color. Let's take a look at the color choices. The first column says color. Red, yellow, and green are the apple color choices. Let's see. Let's count the tallies and see how many people chose red as their favorite apple color. Well, I see only one tally mark, so that tells me that a total of one person said red is their favorite apple color. Next to yellow, I see 1, 2, 3 tally marks. So that tells me that a total of 3 people said that yellow is their favorite apple color. And next to green, I see 1, 2 tally marks. That tells me a total of 2 people said green is their favorite apple color. Trace in the totals in your tally chart. Now we can use this information to make a picture graph that shows the same data. Our picture graph can have the same title, favorite apple color, and the same apple color choices on the first column, red apple, yellow apple, and green apple. Let's see. Because there was a total of one person that said red apples are their favorite, I can draw one red apple. Go ahead and shade in that red apple now. Let's take a look and see how many people said yellow was their favorite apple color. I see in my tally chart that a total of 3 people said yellow was their favorite apple color. So I can draw 3 apples next to the color yellow. And let's take a look and see how many people chose green as their favorite apple color. I see in my tally chart that a total of 2 people said green is their favorite apple color. So I can draw 1, 2 apples next to the color green. Go ahead and shade in your apples now to make your picture graph. Our tally chart and our picture graph, although they look different, show the same data. Our tally chart uses tally marks to show data, and our picture graph uses pictures to show data. After you've finished shading in the apples, we are going to move on to the next problem. Problem number 1. Complete the tally chart and picture graph. So first, we have to complete this tally chart, and then we can use this tally chart to make a picture graph that shows the same data. Let's take a look. The title of this tally chart is Favorite Shape. So I know the tally marks represent one person's favorite shape. Let's see the shape choices. The first column says triangle, circle, and square. Let's take a look and see how many tally marks are next to the shape triangle to find out the total number of people that said triangle is their favorite shape. I see a group of tally marks, and I know when I see a group of tally marks that looks like this is a group of 5 tally marks, so I can write a total of 5 on the side. Go ahead and fill in the totals for circle and square. So under triangle, I had 5 tally marks. That means a total of 5 people. For circle, I only see 1 tally mark. That means one person said circle is their favorite shape. And under square, I see 3 tally marks. That means a total of 3 people said square is their favorite shape. Now that we've filled in this tally chart, we are going to use it to make a picture graph that shows the same data. Well, let's take a look. Let's use this tally chart we made in problem number 1 to make a picture graph for problem number 2. Now remember, even though we're using tallies for our tally chart and pictures for our picture graph, they should show the exact same data. My picture graph has the exact same title, favorite shape, and the same shape choices, triangle, circle, and square. Now let's take a look and see how many total people said triangle is their favorite shape. And let's draw that number of triangles in our picture graph. I see that a total of 5 people said triangle is their favorite shape. So I am going to draw 5 triangles in my picture graph. Draw 5 triangles in your picture graph to show 5 votes. Now I am going to take a look at circle and see how many total people chose a circle as their favorite shape in my tally chart. I see only one person chose circle as their favorite shape. So I am going to draw one circle. Draw one circle in the picture graph. Now let's take a look and see how many people said square is their favorite shape in the tally chart. Pause the video and draw the same number of squares in your picture graph as you see in your tally chart. Then play the video for the answer. If I take a look at my tally chart, I see that there is a total of 3 people that said square is their favorite shape. So I can draw 1, 2, 3 squares in my picture graph to show the votes of 3 people. Go ahead and draw in the shapes to make sure your picture graph looks like mine. We created a picture graph to show the same data that's represented in our tally chart. Instead of using tallies, we used pictures to show this data. But in both my tally chart and my picture graph, I have 5 people that said triangle is their favorite shape, 1 person that says circle is their favorite shape, and 3 people that said square is their favorite shape. Great job following along so far. We used our tally chart to make a picture graph. Great job following along. Now you try. Complete on my own pages 523 and 524. For problems number 3 and 4, they're very similar to problem number 1 and 2. First, write in the totals for your tally chart that shows the favorite weather of people surveyed. And then use those totals to make a picture graph that shows the same data. Then answer question number 5 on page 524. Read the word problem, then use the information in the word problem to fill in this picture graph showing the favorite pet of people surveyed. After that, go to Write Math and write one sentence to answer the question, how does a picture show a number on a graph? Explain. After you are finished, complete your homework, page 525 and 524. Your homework is very similar to problems number 1 and 2 in our lesson, so you can refer back to it if you need to. Problem number 1 and 2 for your homework, you are going to fill in the totals of the tally chart and then use this tally chart to create a picture graph. For problems number 3 and 4, you are also going to fill in the totals for this tally chart, then use the totals to make a picture graph. For number 5 and 6, you are going to fill in the blank spaces with your vocabulary words. Our 2 vocabulary words are data and picture graph. So read the sentence and fill in each word in one of the spaces. Great job following along today, and you can tune in on Monday for Chapter 7, Lesson 4. See you then.